So today we are taking up contractors all risk insurance. Contractors all risk insurance. This policy is known shortly as CR policy, and this is a branch of the engineering insurance. Engineering insurance means insurance that provides economic safeguard to the risk faced by the ongoing construction project, installation project, machines and equipment and project operation. Means these three main operations are covered by the engineering insurance classes. There are various classes which are providing purpose-specific policies. Say for example, if ongoing construction project is to be covered, there is a separate policy. Installation project is to be covered, there is a separate policy. And for the project operations, there are n number of policies which are used for different purposes. So these three specific verticals are there in the engineering insurance. And engineering insurance is a type of insurance policy wherein a wide range of risks related to engineering are covered. Wide range means lot many policies are there. CR is a comprehensive policy that offers economic safeguard against risk faced by ongoing construction and installation and machine equipment, but not all the categories. Because this engineering industry is about the creating and designing, construction and building, and there are increased chances of related accidents and perils. That is the reason lot many engineering policies are required. Thus, engineering insurance policies cater to different forms of uncertainties that are associated with on-site construction, including plant and machinery. In simple terms, projects relating to creations, designing, constructions, buildings, these are all part of engineering insurance, plus on-site constructions, plant and machineries, installations, they are also part of engineering. So for each of these activities, there is a separate policy. And for each of these activities, the coverage, the premium ratings, the exclusions, these are all depending upon the policies given to the individual activity. Now say, a contractor all risk policy is required for what purpose? India is among the fast growing economies in the world with an upbeat outlook towards rapid infrastructural development. That means if any country is engaged or busy in infrastructural developments, that economy is said to be the fastest growing economy. Because infrastructure development is one thing which grows the economy of that specific country. Then what is infrastructural development? So for example, railways, industrial units, housing facilities, dams, flyovers, power plants, and other such construction projects which are under construction in any of the countries. That means that country's fastest growing economy, because these are all infrastructural developments. But the rise in these infrastructural projects comes with a rise in material risk, because the more infrastructure developments are taking place, the more risk would be there. Because all these infrastructure developments are clubbed together with the material risk. And the possibility of damage to the construction materials, machineries, or the constructed portion due to environmental and man-made hazards can lead to substantial losses for the contractors. Because in these infrastructural projects, any loss or damage relating to the construction, to the machinery, to the already constructed portion, or to the environmental or man-made hazards, they are all supposed to create heavy losses. And to cover these heavy losses, there is a policy that is called Contractors All Risk Insurance. So that is the reason Contractors All Risk policy is required. Now see the classification of the engineering insurance policies. There are various types of engineering policies. Say for example annual policies. So annual means 1 year or 12 months. After completion of 1 year, these policies will be renewed for further 1 year. These policies can be for short period also, but maximum period is 1 year. So these policies are called annual policies. These policies includes contractors, plant and machinery, means CPM, engineering equipment insurance, means EI policy, machinery breakdown insurance, means MBD insurance, and water and pressure plant, VPP policy. They are all annual policy because they are given to the projects which are in operation. Now the second class is long-term projects. Long-term insurance or project insurance. These policies include contractors all risk and erection all risk. So basically what is the difference between annual policy and long-term policy? Annual is for 1 month or 1 year only, and long-term policy is for more than 1 year, but this is not so. This policy will be issued for 1 year, and for the further period this will be extended. Means the policy is not renewed on different terms and conditions. This is extended on the same terms and conditions for the period required for completion of the project. It may be 6 months, it may be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But depends upon the completion of the project. But long-term policies will be extended for the further period looking to the pendency of that project. So this is first classification of the engineering insurance policies. Then another one is phase wise. Phase means policies related to the construction phase. These policies are called period policies or one-time policies, and even long-term policies. Construction phase policies include CAR, EAR, marine income correction, advanced loss of profit, or delay in startup. So these policies are known as the construction phase wise policies for period or one-time policies. Period could be longer than 1 year. Second type of policies are related to the operation phase. They are the all annual policies. Same machinery breakdown, BPP, CPM, machinery loss of profits, civil engineering completed risk, electronic equipment insurance, deterioration of stocks. So this is another classification of the engineering policies, which is phase wise, construction phase and operation phase. Now, period of cover is also important in these kind of policies, because period consists first of all policy period, then it could be maintenance period, and then operational covers. So inception date and commencement of work is important for CR policies. How? Because CR may be taken out for all building and civil engineering projects. For example, residential and office building, hospitals, schools, theatres, production facilities, infrastructure facilities, airports, bridges, dams, tunnels, harbors, like these. For all these projects, CR policy is required. I repeat, where the civil engineering project is there, a CR policy is required. And this kind of projects, which are residential and office buildings, hospital buildings, schools and buildings, bridges, dams, tunnels, they all have the major portion of civil engineering work. So the scope of cover for this policy is, the policy has two sections, two main sections. One is material damage and second is third party liability. So material damage portion covers contract works, maybe permanent or temporary work or main part of the contract. Then removal of debris, professional fees, fee issue materials, construction equipments at the site, offices or storage sheds, construction machineries like earth moving equipment, cranes, site vehicles, and principals existing property. They are all part of the material damage. Second is third party liability, means bodily injury or property damage, both are covered. So when you are giving a CR policy to any of your contractors, few things you have to note down. First of all, period of cover. This policy shall commence from the commencement of work or arrival of the first consignment at the project site, whichever is earlier. Two conditions are there for commencement of the cover. Either the project has started, means commencement from the date or commencement date, or otherwise the work has not commenced but the consignment has reached to the project site. Still the policy will start, because the protection of consignment is necessary, and from that date also the policy can start for the sake of protection of that consignment. It could be building material, it could be machineries, it could be erection related machineries or any part. So whatever consignment is there, either the project has commenced or the consignment has reached at the project site. So this is the way the policy will start. But how it will expire? For expiry there are three situations. One, when the completed part thereof is taken over, means project is completed and it is given to the principals or put into service, means it has started operations, or the date specified in the policy, means expiry date of the policy. So under any of these three circumstances, whichever is earliest, the policy will expire. In case the work is not completed within the period specified in the policy, then the policy can be extended, not renewed. This is important to understand. Say suppose one hospital was under construction on contract basis. The contractor has taken the contract to complete it within 2 years, or say within one and a half year. The contractor has taken the policy of CR, 1 year is completed, but the project is not completed. It means it is not taken over by principals, it is not put into the service, but the policy has expired. Now policy has to be extended for the further 6 months or whatever period is required. It may be 1 year, it may be 2 years. So policy can be extended on the same terms and conditions, because the project terms and conditions will not change. So this is the way how CR policies are issued. These policies are very similar to ER policies. ER means erection all risk. CR means contractor all risk. Both are all risk covers, but the determining factor is value of erection and installation work. Means which policy is to be given, CR or ER, this will be decided on the basis of a value of erection and installation work. How it will be decided? Say some industry, a wire manufacturing industry is to be installed. So in that project, value of erection is more than the civil construction. Means the building is there. That is civil construction. But the machinery, installations, fittings, part is more than the cost of the building. In that case, if the value of erection and installation work is more than 50% of the total cost of the project, then the erection or risk policy will be given. If it is otherwise, means say the civil engineering work is more than the 50% cost of the total project, then the CR policy will be given. So the classification is very simple. And this is the only criteria, this is the only determining factor which will decide which policy is to be given to the project. Whether this will be CR policy or ER policy. E word is specific, that stands for the erection. Erection and installation work is combined. Civil work is different. Civil work relates to the construction of the building and the portions. Erection and installation work is related to the installation of machineries, erection of machineries. So where the total cost of the project has to be more than 50% related to the value of erection and installation work, ER policy will come into the picture, otherwise CR policy has to be given. So this concept of deciding the CR and ER has to be very clear. Now what are the unique features of the CR policy? Let's see. In majority of proposals, there will be risk inspection by the company engineers. Since the huge cost is involved in these projects, they are long-term projects also. So majority of the proposals are inspected by our risk engineers. Almost all the companies are having their own risk engineers, and they are expert in their profession. They are visiting to the site, inspecting the risk, submitting their report, recommending the plus and minus points, even suggesting the way for improvement of the risk. So here in these projects, the risk inspection is very important. Then duty or utmost good faith applies, hence proposer has to declare all material information. Since the huge cost is involved, something long term is involved, and the project could be simple or very complex in nature. So for everything, all material information has to be declared by the contractor in the proposal form itself. Policies can be issued in the joint names of two or more parties, that is principal, contractor or subcontractor, and nobody else. Either principals, contractors or subcontractors. Almost all classes of engineering insurance are controlled by tariffs with prescribed standardized proposal and policy wordings. Here there is a slight change. Earlier, when the de-tariffing was there, only pricing was the free. Pricing was free because every insurer was supposed to apply the pricing or rating as per their own discussions. No tariff pricing was to be charged. But rest of the things means policy terms, wordings, conditions and clauses were similar. But now recently, in this year only, 2024 only, IRDAI has issued denotification of tariffs. That means now the insurance companies are free to change, modify or design or develop or innovate the new terms and conditions of the policies. So for any new policy, the terms conditions may differ. And the last one is the sum insured is adjustable at completion or projection or construction on the basis of the actual basis. So these are the unique features applicable to the CAR policy. Now CAR policy applies to all this located in India, for which the value of civil works involved is more than 50% of the total contract value. That means any project which is outside India or beyond the territorial limits of India will not be covered under the CR policy. Maybe the contractor is the same, which is having another project in Indian territory. So that Indian territory project will be covered, but the project which is beyond the territorial limits of India will not be covered under this policy. Now who can take? Principal, contractor or subcontractor. They are the people who can take the policy. Principal, contractor or subcontractor. Now who are the target segment? Means government contractors involved in government projects like road construction, bridge construction or building construction, and builders and developers of township. They are all supposed to take the CR policy because builders and developers are all engaged in these civil construction projects. So for them, this policy is very useful. So these are the target segment to whom you can sell this policy. If you want to see the images, I'll show you. These are all subject matter of CR policy. A multi-story building, a road construction, a hospital construction or a school building construction or college building construction or hospital. For all these purposes, CR policy is required. Coverage is in two sections, material damage and third-party liability. So when we talk of the material damage, the policy covers the property against loss, damage or destruction by any cause unless until specifically excluded. This is again elaborated because the purpose is this policy is all this policy. And in any all this cover, only those risks are excluded which are in the specific list or specifically excluded from the policy. Otherwise, almost any sudden or unforeseen loss or damage occurring during the period of insurance on the construction site is indemnified. Everything is covered except those risks which are specifically excluded from the policy. Third party against loss, damage, construction of any cause and third party personal injury is also covered under the policy. Now see the another aspect of the material damage section, because when we say this is all risk cover, so there could be a variety of risks which you are not imagining at this point of time. Say for example, fire perils, fire, lightning, explosion, theft, burglary, windstorm, flood, inundation, earthquake, landslide, rock slide, subsidence. These are all fire perils. And they are all covered because none of them is excluded in the policy. Similarly, construction faults. For example, defective material, workmanship means karigari, collapse, subject to exclusions. If nothing of them is excluded from the policy, they are all covered. Human error, lack of skills, negligence of workers, covered. Other perils like air crash, blasting, They are also covered. Unless a risk is in the exclusion list, every risk is covered under the CR rules. So this is very important to understand, because the loss could be huge. Say in this image. This is a real loss image, and this was the loss at Delhi metro site. So at the metro site, this loss when took place, everything, anything which came in the way was damaged. Property, person, machineries, animals, whatever came in the way, everything was damaged. And surprisingly, everything was covered. So the insurer has to pay the losses or damages of everything, including third-party loss. Now, how the sum insured of the policy will be decided? This policy is subject to underinsurance, and wherever there is an underinsurance clause applicable, means the average clause will deduct the claim amount proportionately. I repeat, wherever the underinsurance is applicable, average clause will deduct the claim amount proportionately. That means sum insured must be adequate. Overinsurance is no problem, but underinsurance is a problem. If it is overinsured, this will cover even the escalated value, because while on the project construction, this all depends upon the time, how much time it will take, and in that time only the construction cost may increase, part cost may increase, machinery cost may increase, labor cost may increase, building material cost may increase. So these are the factors which are contributing that unless the sum insured is adequate, insured is bound to suffer the losses on account of underinsurance. So when deciding the sum insured, these all components have to be taken care of. One, marine imports. Means whatever machinery, whatever building material is imported and it is at the landed cost at the site, that will be part of the sum insured. Then marine indigenous landed cost at site. Indigenous means within country. Whatever is purchased, maybe it is a building material or machinery, whatever it is. So that cost at site has to be part of the sum insured. Then cost of construction, permanent civil engineering work, half the escalated value, if escalation is opted for. Escalation must be opted, because this is 100% sure that the production cost will increase, construction cost will increase, and it may increase in multiples. So the sum insured should represent the completed value of the contract work on completion of construction, inclusive of all cost of materials, wages, freights, custom dues, construction cost, and material or items supplied by the principals. These all have to be part, in addition to the marine imports, marine indigenous, cost of construction, permanent civil engineering work. In addition to them, sum insured must also include material cost, wages, freights, custom dues, construction cost, and material or items supplied by the principals. I give you an example. In Jaipur, there was a project called Dravyavati Nadi. Initially, it was costing to 460 crores only. It was a 2.5 year long project. So when in the third year it was completed, the cost was 1,400 crores of the same project. So whatever is the projected cost, this same is on the rate applicable today. By the time the project will be completed, it can increase to 100%, 200%, 300%, nobody knows. And policy subject to under insurance. So adequate sum insured is required. This is very prominent factor. All kind of expenses and even escalated cost must be included in the sum insured. Then the policy also provides the add-on covers. Third party liability add-on is also there. So the risk is already covered. But enhanced third party coverage can be taken. Surrounding properties of insured, escalation clause, removal of debris, CPM and maintenance. Here CPM may be new to you because CPM is a separate policy which is called annual policy of the engineering class, which is covering the plant and machineries of the contractors. But here CPM is only an add-on cover up to this policy because whatever, if the number of machineries are short and lesser in number, they can be covered in the CR policy itself by taking CPM as an add-on cover. So any of these add-on covers or all of these add-on covers can be taken by the contractor because all add-on covers are always optional. They are available on the additional premium. They are not part of the inbuilt cover. So this is as per the choice of the contractor to choose add-on covers. There is one more image showing the real loss of CR policy where building under course of construction collapse. Imagine the loss. Maybe 4 or 5 floors were constructed. Upper 2-3 floors are collapsed. And the remaining first and second floor were also shaken and damaged. In such a situation, this is almost a case of total loss. Whatever remains has to be checked whether it can be utilized or this has to be restructured again. And here is going to be the very high cost of removal of debris. Another important factor is, in such a situation you cannot imagine how many deaths or casualties have taken place. Because when the debris are removed, maybe a number of dead bodies are found of the laborers or third persons. So this kind of losses are very huge. But since the project is big one, term is longer, the risk is entirely covered under the CR policy because this is an all-risk policy. If you talk about exclusions, the policy is excluding certain risks. Say willful negligence, loss discovered only at the time of taking inventory, loss or damage due to faulty design. Here, if the faulty design is in the exclusion list, then only it is excluded, otherwise it is part of the coverage. Consequential losses, cost necessary for rectification or correction, bodily injury to or illness of employees or workmen of the contractors. This last one is very important because bodily injury to or illness of the employees of the workmen of the contractor or the principals or any other firm connected with the project, which or part of which is insured under section 1 or members of their families. This is important in the sense any person who is engaged in the work or on the projects, they are the laborers of the contractors. So to cover that risk, contractors are taking the workman compensation insurance policy. And that workman compensation insurance policy will cover the risk of all those persons may be suffering from bodily injury or illness or whatever it is. Now the question is, if any other person is there other than laborers, that will come under the third party liability. So as far as the laborers are concerned, workmen are concerned, artisans are concerned, they are all covered under the workman compensation insurance policy. Third party liability can be enhanced. Remedies are there for that purpose, and it could be taken in the form of any one person limit or any one accident limit, subject to the maximum liability coverage which the company provides, because the companies are giving the extended coverage for third party liabilities, because at such a situation third party liability may be very, very high. So the liability is decided on the basis of the any one person, means AOP or AOA, and accordingly the premium is charged. So here this is an example where under course of construction the building in Ghaziabad collapses, 2 passerby is killed. Passerby means persons passing through that route, and they were all unknown persons, means third parties. So their liability is also covered. And for any purpose, if the contractor has taken the extended cover, to that extent the liability will apply. Now there could be 2 kinds of claims under this policy: partial claims and total loss claims. Partial, if certain portion has collapsed or damaged or lost, then the cost of repairs necessary to restore the property to the original condition immediately before the loss, less salvage, less under insurance, less compulsory excess. If the part of the wall that is damaged, then repairing and restoring it to the condition it was before the damage is on the repair basis. That means if there is a partial loss, insurance company will pay the claim to restore it or to repair it, minus compulsory excess, minus salvage value, minus under insurance. Because these 3 are the policy clauses. If there is a total loss, company will pay actual value of the property immediately before the loss, minus salvage, minus under insurance, minus compulsory excess. Then only it will be restored to the previous position. So that is the way the claim will be settled under the policy. And then there would be restatement of the sum insured also, because policy is subject to under insurance. If at all there is any claim paid during the policy period, sum insured will be reduced by that amount. And if the policy period is remaining, that is called unexpired period of policy, there is a possibility of another loss, and if the another loss takes place, then that would be subject to under insurance, because the sum insured has been reduced by the amount of settlement claim. So in that case, this is always advised by the insurance company that sum insured must be restated or restored. It may be higher, it may be bigger, it may be over-insured, but not under-insured. So for that purpose, the insurer has to pay pro rata additional premium on the full amount of each claim for the loss or damage from the date of such loss to the expiry of the period of insurance. And normally where the policy period is remaining for 6 months or more than 6 months, immediately the sum insured must be restated. Even for 2 months, the sum insured must be restated, because possibility of loss cannot be ruled out in the remaining period of the policy. So insured should not suffer the losses because of his no fault. Now when you are giving the policy, certain things are to be noted. First, the rating. The rating of CR policy shall depend upon the project type. For a bid project type, rate structure is separately decided in the tariff. Project type means it may be a road, it may be a hospital, it can be a bridge, it can be a school. So whatever is the project, according to that the premium rate will apply. Mid-term cover. If in case the project has already started, policy can be given mid-term, but the premium shall be charged from the commencement of the project. This is very important. That shall be done post taking declaration from the insured of non-loss till date and approval from underwriting department. I give you the practical example. Say suppose I am a contractor, I am constructing a hospital. Now the project has already started in the month of 1st April, from April. And today on 1st of August I am asking for an insurance policy from you. So the company will ask, project has already started in the month of April. April, May, June, July, 4 months have already gone. In that period there will be certain constructions. And if there is loss to any of that construction, who will pay that loss? Because we were not at risk. Our risk will commence from today. We are giving the policy from today. So who will be responsible for that loss? And maybe the contractor may be hiding if there is any loss, because he will never disclose. Today, if he has come to take the policy, so he is a defaulter. He should have taken the policy when the project was commencing. If he has not taken, and today he is asking the policy, something is wrong. Something is fishy. So, if your insurance company is giving the policy, what the company will do? Company will charge the premium from the commencement date of the project. Means premium has to be paid from 1st of April. One thing. Secondly, contractor has to give a declaration that there is no loss till date. And that has to be approved by the underwriter, then only the policy will be given. This is the procedure of giving the mid-term cover. Otherwise, the policy is given from the commencement of the project only. For a small term, the policy can be given. If the project is for 9 months only, or 8 months only, or for 6 months only, the policy can be given. As low as 3 months also. And when the policy expires, this will be extended. If in case the project does not complete in the given policy period, extension can be taken. Now, if the change of insurer is there, what will happen? If the policy has been taken from one insurance company, an extension is sought from another insurance company, do you think another insurer will give the extension? Extension cannot be given by another insurance company without taking the entire project premium. So what another insurer will do? The previous policy is expired, you are taking the policy on the expiry of the policy today for extension period. You have to pay us the entire premium amount for that period also, then we will cover the risk. Otherwise, we never know what losses have taken place in the previous policy period. So that premium has to be paid. Now this policy provides the installment facility. In case the project period is more than or equal to 12 months, premium can be taken in quarterly installments, because the possibility of extension of this project or policy is always there. Normally, projects are for more than 1 year. Higher discounts can also be given, because tariff provides if the policy is taken for any long-term contract to submit to the principals and the contractor is interested to pay lesser premium, he can choose the higher compulsory excess to reduce the premium. Higher compulsory excess means what? If he is selecting 10 times of the minimum excess, he will not claim for that loss. The company will pay 20% discount in the premium. Or if he is selecting 20 times of the minimum excess, company will pay 30% discount in the premium. So that way the premium can be reduced. Now there is a clause called 50-50 clause. Since you are in the C&B vertical, you people are handling the brokers and corporates. So brokers will always demand 50-50 clause along with the CR policy, because they will keep the interest of their insured uppermost, and to provide the full protection to their insured, they will ask for all the relevant clauses along with the policy coverage. So this 50-50 clause is again important, and if there is a requirement, we are also providing the 50-50 clause. This is part of the policy, no extra premium is charged for that. But this is given only on demand. What this 50-50 clause is? If any loss is discovered after the risk has terminated under the insurance, if any loss is discovered after the risk is terminated, and the contractor is filing that claim after the expiry of the insurance, it is not possible that insurance company will pay that claim, because it was not ascertained during the policy period. It is not known whether the cause of such damage happened prior to the termination of the cover or after. So despite of inspection of the loss by sending the surveyors, it is difficult to ascertain whether the loss is recent or it is old. It took place during the policy period or afterward. So in such a situation is very complex, because it is difficult otherwise. And this is the first right of the insurance company to repudiate the claim, because it is lodged only after the expiry of the policy, and now it is not possible to ascertain the cause of loss. So it is very easy to decline the claim for insurance company. But if the 50-50 clause is taken, and that says insurer shall contribute 50% of the properly adjusted claim without prejudice to subsequent final apportionment of the claim, means 50% liability will be admitted by the insurance company and 50% has to be borne by the insured contractor himself. So here how the liability is decided. Similarly, there is one more clause called 72-hour clause. This is also in demand, and brokers will definitely ask for this clause also. What is this clause? So for the purpose of the application of any deductible under this policy, deductible means compulsory deductibles, all physical loss, destructions of damage resulting from earth movements, rock falls and like water damage, bushfires, subsidence, collapse, earthquake, typhoon, flood, storm and tempest, cyclone occurring each period of 72 consecutive hours shall be considered as one event. See, the purpose of taking this clause is, suppose one incident has taken place, maybe the flood or storm or cyclone. Now that has hit the project. So the moment cyclone hit the project, the claim was filed with the insurer. Surveyor inflicted the loss. On the next day again some portion got damaged due to the impact of that cyclone. Maybe a floor is fallen, collapsed. So again the insurer has to report the another loss. So if there are two different losses, 2 times the compulsory deductibles will be applicable. Compulsory excess will be applicable. Or suppose due to impact of that cyclone again, on third day also there is some loss. The remaining portion collapsed. So again on the third day the loss has to be intimated separately. So whatever number of claims are reported on different intervals, they will be treated as different claims. And on each different claim, there will be deduction of compulsory deductibles separately. So for the purpose of the foregoing, the commencement of any such 72-hour period shall be decided at the discretion of the insured. It being understood and agreed, however, that there shall be no overlapping in any 2 or more such 72-hour period in the event of damage occurring over a more extended period of time. That means, don't go on the language, I simplify it. That means within 72 hours, whatever number of losses are reported, they will be treated as one. If they are treated as one, that means compulsory deductibles shall apply only one time. So the insured will be saving the cost. Otherwise, from each claim, the policy clauses or the compulsory deductibles will be deducted separately. And this is quite likely that due to the impact of the insured peril, that may be earthquake, that may be typhoon, that may be flood, or subsidence, or cyclone, the impact continues for even after a couple of hours or even after a couple of days. You cannot exactly find out the total loss on one day, because the building may have suffered the jerks. The floors may collapse in intervals, and if they are collapsing in different intervals, they will be separately intimated to the insurance company. So this will prevent the insured from different compulsory excesses. If the loss is caused by one event and may be reported on different date and different times, but the loss will be treated as one. So this will save the cost of the insured. Now how the CR and ER policy will be decided, that factor is very simple. If more than 50% cost of the total project is belonging to the civil construction, in that case CR policy. If more than 50% cost of the total project relates to the erection and installation works, then the ER policy is to be given. So this is all about the CR policy. Now if you have any questions, you can ask.